Alright, Beast Gohan has officially dropped, finally, in Dokkan Battle for the 9th anniversary, part 2 of the 9th anniversary, actually. And now, this raises a lot of questions and concerns. Mainly, the last couple of days, a lot of discussion has been held regarding one unit in particular, and that, of course, is LR Orange Piccolo. Orange Piccolo has been arguably one of the most dominant, longest running units in the game's history. I mean, he came out in what, the end of 2022? So, obviously, it's like his long run has been great, but now with Beast Gohan in the picture, the arguments are being held of whether or not Orange Piccolo is still viable on a lot of his teams and whatnot. So today, I grabbed one of the mods from my Discord server. Serrano, say hello.
Hi.
You suck at saying hello. And today we're going to break down two sides of the argument. My first one being my own personal opinion of I believe that Orange Piccolo has been replaced on the superhero team and the majority of his teams because of Beast Gohan's presence. And then on the other side of the coin, we have Serrano and his opinion saying that Orange Piccolo is still viable for a lot of his teams with Beast Gohan now in the picture. So, Serrano, kick it away with your take on this.
Yeah, so I'm coming at this from a team building perspective of I kind of value defense as my number one priority when it comes to building a team. And I know you and I have been talking about it, and you've kind of been saying about you would rather run Ultimate Gohan due to sharing more links, and he kind of has that offense, whilst Beast has that defense.
Right.
But I would kind of say that I would still run Orange Piccolo, because I think not only, even outside of his Orange Piccolo form, when it comes to fights such as Fusion Zamasu, which to many is now obsolete, you could make the case that yes, although you could very easily one-turn Zamasu straight away, if you don't and he happens to launch an AoE, I don't know, maybe straight away, or, you know, at some time that would hit Ultimate Gohan, even with Beast's lock-on and his target mechanic, they don't attract AoEs. So in fights like that, and even Omega Shenron, even when Beast uses that target mechanic, if you have Ultimate Gohan, who can struggle defensively when compared to Orange Piccolo, that AoE could hit him very hard and pretty easily kill him.
To be fair, though, as a counterpoint, especially when it comes to Merge Zamasu and Omega, Merge Zamasu, sure, he'll do like some damage, but considering that Ultimate Gohan is a physical unit, he really won't be taking that much damage. In my experience, like a Rainbow Ultimate Gohan takes like what, 30, maybe 40k from Zamasu's AoEs right at the start of turn, and then when you compare that to Omega, Omega does his basically at the end of the fight, when by that point most of your units are fully built up. By then Ultimate Gohan is still not taking a lot of damage, also because of the fact that both bosses are int bosses and physical units really don't struggle. Now obviously, as a counterpoint, the STR Omega's AoEs, if Gohan is not guarding in that turn, let's say you used up all of his guard, then yeah, at that point those AoEs are gonna hurt. I will give the benefit of the doubt to that yes, the AoEs still hurt physical Ultimate Gohan. However, my take on this, especially with the more of the recent fights that we've seen in the 9th anniversary, like the Blue Zone, we have the Super Memorial event with all the anniversary characters, especially now with the latest stages of the Super Memorial event. We have the Gamma fight, and then we have the Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo fight. Those fights are for the first time, and I think ever, where we actually have a scenario where you're going to turn like 10 and beyond and stuff like that. I mean, as a prime example, Truth in his video went to like turn 12 against the Gammas. And I think for the large majority of units, that's where we're going to start seeing where a lot of these powerful units like Orange Piccolo, who is great at the start of these fights, most of the early fights where you finish up in like turn 5 or 6, that's where we're going to start seeing cracks in their design because they're not built for the longer content. But realistically, when it comes to the shorter fights as well, I also just think that at this point, Beast straight up replaces Orange Piccolo, because when you look at it, both characters are build-up characters, especially in Orange Piccolo's case. He needs to be hit roughly 5 times to gain another, like, 150% attack and defense to his kit. It's massive, and everything. And at that point, he's untouchable, right, for the first, like, 5 or 6 turns. However, now with Beast in the picture, you not only have a better slot 1 unit who can eat any hit that comes his way, and also support the rotation and whatnot. It's like, why bother using Piccolo at this point? Because he needs to get those hits in, and if you don't get those hits in, if you keep Piccolo in slot 2, which realistically you should be, if you keep Piccolo in slot 2 and he doesn't get the hits he needs, once he loses like his guard and stuff like that, he's going to become a liability. Unlike Ultimate Gohan, where unless you're dealing with AoEs and whatnot, at least A, you have a good linking partner for Beast, and B, you have a partner that also does a lot of damage. Physical Ultimate Gohan, now with Beast support, and if you also want to include the Gammas, he's doing an obscene amount of damage. Like 20 million on his Ultra, 17 million on his additional super attacks. Ultimate Gohan is actually a viable unit now for the Beast Gohan team. But again, it's like that's my personal opinion. What do you have to take away?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely does do a lot more damage now. But I just feel like on the superhero team, especially, there are so many units that do damage now. I mean, all their recent EZAs, the 9th anniversary, are all powerhouses of damage. They just dish it out for free, like completely, like Evolved Vegeta and Kaioken and Goku do crazy damage with guaranteed crits and stuff. And I just feel like if you're going for damage, I'd rather run them. But I think, whilst I'll admit, yes, Ultimate Gohan definitely has very good value with his links, giving like All in the Family and all that to Beast Gohan, which is a crazy defensive
6 out
link.
of 7 links with one another. I think the only thing
they
don't share is like shocking speed or something like that.
I'm not 100%, but yeah, they pretty much share all the links, don't they? But I feel like with me personally, I think it's more of that what if scenario. Like if let's say Ultimate Gohan, you have his target mechanic, and you might have Gogetas as well. You might not, because it can sometimes be quite late getting out, like turn 6, maybe turn 7. But it's just if you like taking the Gamma fight, which you said goes to turn like 12, and it takes a long time to get through that. With Beast Gohan, even with Ultimate Gohan, if you use that target mechanic, let's say you use all 3, and then you haven't killed the boss. What then happens to Ultimate Gohan? Ultimate Gohan's in a sitting duck. If he gets supered, he hasn't got guard, his defense isn't ridiculously high, he'd probably tank normals if he has type advantage. But it's just, for me personally, like, Orange Piccolo, whilst yes, he does lose his guard, he still has over 1 million defense with potentially 50% damage reduction. And I feel like
the damage
I would rather
reduction
have...
only triggers though if you are below 30% HP. That's the thing,
Yeah,
and it's like realistically, unless a unit gets like really hurt, like if you get a super out in like slot 3 or something like that, realistically you are not going to see Orange Piccolo's DR really kick in, like the the extra 30% he gets. Yeah, HP is 30% or less at the start of the character's turn. And then not only that, you need to receive an attack 7 or more times for that to work. And it's just like, you're just not going to see that with Beast Gohan in the picture. Because unless all the attacks are going in slot 2 or something, then it's like, all you have to do is swap Beast with Piccolo to let Beast take the damage, because Beast is literally untouchable. Untouchable!
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that. I just feel like I'd rather have that unit, even if it's what the 30% he has straight away. I'd rather have him floating about or him about, and him maybe take a super here and there stray than Ultimate Gohan, because I feel like if Ultimate Gohan got hit with a super, he would tank that significantly worse than Piccolo.
Not too like, but not by like a major margin. Like the only factor that comes into play when it comes to Beast's like defense post super is if you get unlucky and he gets like additional normals instead of additional supers. Piccolo doesn't have built-in additional. You have to rely on the hidden potential system for him to get an additional super, and it's like post super. If he's not fully built up, then you are taking an obscene amount of damage, especially when his guard runs out. That's the problem.
Yeah, but I just feel like even then, I mean both units without their guard are both taking a lot of damage. I just feel like, you brought up the gammas earlier. I don't know, we've talked about this before, but I mean there is a tech that I think we both saw on Twitter and stuff. And with using the gammas, you can actually, if you use Orange Piccolo, you can actually use that and then get their orbs twice, which triggers both parts of their passive, and you get, what is it, like 6 super attacks from them?
Yeah, I will give Orange Piccolo the benefit of the doubt that because of how the giant form is structured in the database and whatnot, you can get away with a lot of weird shenanigans like that, where it's like triggering parts of the passive that normally wouldn't be active, and then you get, like you said, the gammas get like 6 attacks in or something like that, which is obscene to think about. But at the same time, I'm also thinking about like Orange Piccolo's giant form needs to stop being inflated so much, because like in those scenarios, like sure, the weird structuring of the database, the 6 super attacks from the gammas is nice, but we're at the point where the giant form is not a get out of jail free card anymore. It'll buy you a turn if you can use it, sure, but it's not like it's going to be doing a whole lot of damage to the boss either. Like, and most of the bosses either A, have an obscene amount of DR, or B, have a ridiculously high health pool. And unless Orange Piccolo is popping 3 supers and each of those supers are doing crits, he's really not going to be doing a whole lot of damage to them. And I just don't see the point in that compared to like Ultimate Gohan, where he's launching a 20 plus million attack stat, super effective against all types, and then he follows up with like 2 or 3 more supers, each of them being 18 million plus super attacks with the super effective against all types. I don't see a reason to really use Orange Piccolo anymore, truly.
Yeah, no, I do see what you're saying, but then I do feel like whilst his giant form, it definitely has lost some value, because I mean originally it was, oh, you use it, you stall a turn, and then oh my god, I win, and the whole the hype around that was that you could use it turn 3, but obviously with Beast Gohan, you can also use that potentially on turn 3. But I think that with Beast Gohan, his whole turn 3 shenanigans, it isn't actually guaranteed to be on turn 3, because if you get a really bad rotation and he's not there straight away turn 1, and even if and let's say by somehow he didn't get hit, I mean, unlikely, I'm aware, but if he didn't get hit or you got him turn 2, if you got to turn 3, and with the amount of damage the superhero team is doing, you're now on phase 2 of whatever fight we're in. Like, let's say Fusion's at Mastery, let's say you one turn him, now you're in phase 2, you're in, turn 2, then you get to turn 3 again, and now Beast Gohan's in rotation, but he hasn't got that active. Orange Piccolo is that backup, and I think that is viable, not to mention the fact that the most recent bosses, they're having more and more effects on Super, like sealing or stunning, and I think, if Beast Gohan uses his target mechanic, and he's then stunned or sealed, that is a lot of damage that, you're missing out on, because, that crazy unit that everyone's talking about at the moment and is amazing, he can't attack. And I think with Orange Piccolo outright cancelling the super and cancelling that stunning and sealing, it benefits Beast Gohan himself.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's hard to really say for sure. Um, I can truly see both sides of the the coin here. Both sides of the coin. But I don't. It's tough. I would say Orange Piccolo is still a very, very powerful character. I would still probably argue he's like top five, or not even, not definitely not top five. I would say I definitely like the all four of the anniversary characters more than him. Top 10, most likely, I would say. If I
Yeah,
had
I'd definitely say he's at least top 10.
on my personal tier list, I would probably argue that Orange Piccolo shares a slot, like let's say fifth best, with like Evolution Blue Vegeta and Kaioken Goku. Me personally, and that's like me being like generous, if I had to like guess. But at the same time, it's like if I'm making a superheroes team, I just don't include like Orange Piccolo anymore, because there's also like so many other options that you can use over him at this point in the game. Especially, we also need to keep in mind the fact that this is only part 2 of the celebration, and we know that in part 3, the 6-year anniversary characters, AGL, UI Goku, and Int Evo Vegeta, they're gonna EZA, and I would argue that they probably will make it onto the superheroes teams, just given how powerful all of the anniversary EZAs have been so far. So that also adds more to the reason of why, like, I believe that Orange Piccolo has just merely, like, simply fallen out of the superhero team in general. Because now you have Evolution Blue, you have Blue Gogeta, you have the Gammas, you got Evolution Blue Vegeta and Kaioken Goku, the physical one. Then you're gonna probably have in Evolution Blue Vegeta and AGL UI Goku on the team, and then Beast. That team is probably gonna be like the new staple moving forward.
Yeah, I feel like something that we haven't really touched upon is the fact that I feel like if those two units are extremely good, I feel like Ultimate Gohan and Piccolo are both just going to be outright replaced. I mean, I understand links are important, but I mean, when it comes to team building, I mean, you've listed what 5 out of the 6 slots of a team there, and I mean, you know.
Well, I listed 5 because Beast Gohan is obviously like the 6th unit. You have Beast, the Gammas, Blue Gogeta, the Evolution Blue Kaioken Goku, the physical one, and then you have AGL UI Goku and Int Evo Vegeta. Those are your 6 units right there.
Yeah, so if the two EZAs are really good, both are probably just going to be replaced. But I mean, something else that I have been thinking about is the fact that Dokkan have a pretty big history of making a really busted unit and then bringing in an event where they kind of say, yeah, he's busted, but we're going to introduce something that makes him a little bit less busted, like when they introduced like dodge canceling and stuff.
Obviously that we're kind of just waiting to see what happens in part 3, because I imagine a new hardest fight will emerge in part 3. But it depends on like what format of the fight that takes. If it's a short-term event, then maybe you can make that argument for Orange Piccolo being back on the team. But if it's anything like the Beast Gohan fight or the Gammas fight, where you're going beyond turn 7, 8, and beyond and plus and stuff, then it's like I just don't see Orange Piccolo being that great. I also like people might also bring up the fact that, oh well, you have Orange Piccolo and Beast Gohan, the unit super attack. The extra crit chance and the attack break really doesn't warrant me using Orange Piccolo. Like, obviously the animation's cool, don't get me wrong, the animations are like the best in the game, but that's not enough for me to really warrant using Orange Piccolo in that scenario, especially like if he's not like being able to like build up, and then he may or may not eat a super and then die.
Yeah, the attack break as well really doesn't do much, because I mean, it's a nice quality of life, I guess, but Beast Gohan is not taking any damage anyway. So, exactly. Yeah, and even the 20% crit, I mean, most units on the superhero team have crit built in. So, it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah. I think we've
I
covered
think
all the points at this point. I think it really in the end, in the end all, it comes down to like personal opinion. Now, of course, if you don't have Beast Gohan, so especially for like my global players, like when the anniversary does come in July, if you don't pull Beast Gohan, then yes, Orange Piccolo is still like a top tier unit, a top 10 unit in the game, which is again, it's still crazy to think about, thinking how long he's been out now. But it's just if you do pull if you do pull Beast Gohan, my opinion is that he's not really needed anymore, but I guess it all really comes down to personal preference because that's what at the end of the day it comes down to who actually is using those characters, and it comes down to personal preference. Any final words?
I was just going to touch upon, with the plethora of events we've got in the ninth anniversary, so many units are now more viable than they've ever been before. It's kind of the opposite to the 7th anniversary. We've got such a variety of events that have come out that now I think, Ultimate Gohan and Piccolo are both viable in their own respective events. I mean,
Yeah,
you've got things like the
that's
God Goku fight
Ultimate
and
Gohan is probably like one of the best examples of. Dude, Ultimate Gohan has probably had the biggest glow up out of like the entire anniversary.
oh,
In terms
100%.
of like units being like viable again, Ultimate Gohan just went from being one of the most hated units in Dokkan history to now he's borderline a top 10 unit in the game now, which is kind of crazy to think about that, considering he's also
Yeah.
as old as Orange Piccolo is.
Yeah, it just shows how good of a job they've done with this anniversary. I mean, it's only part 2, and it's the best celebration ever.
Yeah, I don't think it's any close. Like it's not even close. Like the 7th anniversary was great, but it's not even close. Ninth anniversary has
Yeah.
done a fantastic job, and we don't even know what else is coming in part 3 yet, which is just crazy. But I think that'll do it today. Comment down below what you guys believe. Has Orange Piccolo been replaced now at long last, or is he still, let's say, meta to use against a lot of bosses? We've gone over a lot of points, a lot of different scenarios, but at the end of the day, it does come down to personal opinion. So comment down below what you guys think, and I'll see you guys on the next one.